In addition to Mari and Nineveh, sources from outside Mesopotamia also refer to prophets and prophecies. A very interesting prophecy ascribed to the prophet Balaam, who is known to us from the Bible, was found in what is today Jordan. Unfortunately, the prophecy is very fragmentary and difficult to comprehend. We know nothing about its authors or background, and even the language in which it is written is still an enigma. We shall therefore not discuss it here in detail, but you are encouraged to read more about this very interesting extra-biblical reference to Balaam. You will find reading recommendations on the course website. Another interesting report of prophecy, which is less close to the Bible, appears in an Egyptian text which describes how an Egyptian god rescued a prince by revealing his message through a prophet. Details on this text too are found on our website. The last corpus of texts which mentions prophecy and will not be discussed here is a collection of letters from the city of Lachish, located in Judah. The letters were written just before the destruction of the kingdom of Judah. They were written in Hebrew by Judeans, and 3 of them mention a prophet. A word of explanation is needed here. You may ask yourselves, why don't we discuss the Lachish letters in detail? They are much closer to the Bible than all other sources presented thus far. The main reason is that prophecy is mentioned very briefly in these letters, and its context is too obscure to tell us anything decisive. In one letter, it is reported that a message came from a prophet whose name is not mentioned. The prophetic message, as quoted in the letter, includes one word only: beware. The circumstances of this dramatic warning can only be guessed. Many scholars believe that it has to do with the forthcoming fall of Judah to the Babylonians and connect it to political events described in the book of Jeremiah. But until more evidence is discovered, the interpretation of this very short prophecy remains uncertain. You are strongly encouraged to read more on the Lachish letters and on the prophet they mention. We have reviewed the main corpuses which refer to prophecy in the ancient Near East. Before proceeding to discuss their contribution to the understanding of biblical prophecy, we should briefly address the question of the distribution of prophecy. We have seen that outside Israel, prophecy is documented mainly in 18th century BCE Mari, 7th century BCE Nineveh, and some additional isolated places. How are we to explain these patterns of distribution? Why haven't we found prophecies from across all Mesopotamia and from various periods? The early scholars who studied the Mari prophecies believed that prophecy was known precisely in Mari and Israel because these two cultures belong to the West Semitic culture. According to this theory, prophecy, as opposed to divination, was a West Semitic phenomenon. However, the rich findings from the Neo-Assyrian Empire refute this theory. The culture of the Assyrian Empire is Eastern Semitic, and the Neo-Assyrian prophecies are even more similar to biblical prophecies than the ones from Mari. Other scholars suggest that the discovery of texts relating to prophecy at Mari and Nineveh is just chance, owing to the fact that these two cities housed the largest archives found in Mesopotamia thus far. According to this explanation, prophets may have existed in Mesopotamia in many other places and times, but they left no trace of their activity. Perhaps their prophecies were only delivered orally, or the written material documenting their work did not survive. We should also keep in mind that unlike divination, prophecy was not considered an academic discipline and was not associated with the scribal institution. Rather, it was an oral phenomenon which was only sporadically documented in written sources. In the next lecture, we will discuss the contribution of the various sources related to prophecy to the understanding of biblical prophecy.